What's up, guys? Welcome back to today's episode of The Sports Sermon. We are brought to you by Scooch, the most functional phone case on the market. Check out ScoochCase.com to get yours today and use the code SPORTS18, sports with a Z, of course, to get a 10% discount on your order. Stay tuned till the end for a special Scooch giveaway as well. But now, today's episode.
And welcome inside. As you can tell by the title today, we are talking about the Tennessee Titans preview for the 2018 season. I am Dylan Staggy here today with Jason Gandhi, Dan Majors, and Zach Munson. So last year, the Titans finished at 9-7 and ended up winning a thriller of a playoff game at Kansas City before getting walloped by the New England Patriots in the next round. Marcus Mariota did not have a good season, though. 13 touchdowns, 15 interceptions.
Is that including the one he caught?
Does
that count as two?
I'm not sure if the playoff stats are in there.
Oh, tragic.
But this offseason, they made some big moves, signing Malcolm Butler, Dion Lewis.
The Patriots?
No, the Titans.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Dion Lewis and Malcolm. I know.
Got you.
Tennessee Patriots.
But then got rid of DeMarco Murray, who is now retired. And then in the draft, they traded up for both Rashaan Evans and Harold Landry. But let's get into the Tennessee Titans. I mentioned Marcus Mariota. He had his worst season last year as a pro. Do you guys expect him to step up this year?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in Mike Vrabel and the skid staff he's put around him. I love Matt LaFleur. They've emphasized trying to play to Mariota's strengths by incorporating far more play-action passes, run-pass options, and tempo that suits him. I'm excited to see this revamped offense. I think it's going to be really special this year.
I think Marcus Mariota, I hope he steps up again this year.
Dan and I still have a 2-year bet on this. I said that Winston would have a better pro career, and you said Mariota would. This is the third or fourth year he's done.
Did we actually?
This will be their fourth.
Fourth? Yeah, we have it written down somewhere. I have Winston,
really?
You have Mariota, yeah.
Hey,
you guys will be playing the first 4 games.
Remember when you bet me, Jason, that LeAngelo Ball would be a first-round pick in the NBA draft, and he wasn't? Yeah, I remember that.
Let's talk about the
I have a quick
NFL,
question. I forget who's playing
National
professional
Football
basketball right now. All right,
In the
going.
NBA draft.
All right, keep going.
He's in the JBA, bro.
Dude, this is
Okay,
not
let's
the
go
JBA
on.
podcast.
Let's go on.
Have one of those.
So,
Who wants one? Comment
Yeah,
if you want
comment if you
JBA.
want a JBA podcast. Dan and I would definitely do it. We will be all in on that. Let's do it.
I know I'm a big baller. Are you a big baller?
Facts. Answer that question below. If you're really listening to this, answer it if you're a big baller. And you go to Scooch Case. You'll learn about that at the end.
Can I talk?
Nope. Dan,
Okay.
go.
No, but Marcus Mariota, I've had him in fantasy. He's just been a huge disappointment these past couple of years. So he better step up. Second overall pick. They really need him.
Yeah, I thought he would have a step up last year, but he obviously didn't. I'm a lot more confident in saying that this year, though. He gets a new offensive coordinator and adds Dion Lewis, the GOAT. You might
That's
think
your boy.
replacing, Dion Lewis. You might think replacing Murray with Lewis would be a bad thing, but Lewis, I think he complements Henry better than Murray, and he will help Mariota with his receiving ability.
Yeah, gone is the exotic smash mouth offense, and it is Matt LaFleur, who is fantastic with Jared Goff last season. I would expect Mariota to have a much better season. Nothing really earth-shattering. I wouldn't say he'd be a top 10 quarterback in this league, but definitely better. Also, they get Corey Davis back from injury along with Tajay Sharp, so that should definitely help him get some more weapons. We'll talk about that a little bit later, though. But let's move over to the defensive side for the Titans. They made some big offseason moves to improve their defense, like I talked about earlier, signing Malcolm Butler and then trading up for both Rashaan Evans and Harold Landry. Do you guys like the Titans' defense this year?
Yeah, the good news is this defense that the Titans have built has a lot of depth with versatile skill sets, so there are lots of combinations they can throw out here. They've got both Rashaan Evans and Harold Landry, which I really liked. I just absolutely loved the offseason they had, and I think this could be a defense that went from being 20-something in the league to being one that's better than average, and they definitely just don't mess things up.
They're definitely going to be a lot better. It's going to help them win some games. Or no, sorry, not a lot better, my bad. But it's going to help them win some games that they otherwise would not win. Sorry. But they still need some more pieces to become an elite defense. Like, they are still, like, solidly behind Jaguars, Eagles, in my opinion. So,
Yeah,
they're definitely improved.
They lost Avery Williamson to the Jets and picked up those additions you just mentioned. Those will definitely help, and this defense has no doubt improved from last year. In a division that has elite defenses, they will now relate to Houston and Jacksonville, but still be a tier or two lower than them.
Yeah, I mean, I love the young pickups that I talked about for the Titans, but I think the success of this defense will more depend on how the older veterans can continue to hold up, particularly Jarrell Casey, Brian Arakpo, Derek Morgan. Those guys, if they can continue to produce like they have in the past few years, then the Titans will continue to be a solid defense. Malcolm Butler, I also like that pickup because it gives him a shutdown corner for a team with some pieces that are already solid in the secondary, like Adoree Jackson, last year's first-round pick, and Kevin Byard. But let's move back over to the offensive side for one last question for you guys. The Titans receivers really struggled last year. Are they going to step up and help out Marcus Mariota this year?
Yeah, the most talented dude of the bunch is second-year man Corey Davis. He's a first-round pick with a lot of potential. He played only 11 games, had 375 receiving yards. He's the guy that I expect to increase his production this year. I also like Tajay Sharp. He was my guy 2 years ago. He got hurt. This group's not going to wow anyone, but it's definitely a group that can help out Mariota and this new offense. I really cannot wait to watch. They open up against Miami, Houston, and Jacksonville. And then Philadelphia. So 3 really tough defenses. I'm really excited to see Mariota with his RPOs see what he can do. I'm real excited.
Wow, okay, Jason's excited. Yes. I don't think they're going to be very good. I mean, they only have really like Rashard Matthews and Corey Davis, who's obviously still really, really young. So, not like hyped up a lot about this receiving core, but I mean, they'll be average in my opinion.
Yeah, they lose Eric Decker, and they didn't get. Still.
Honestly, yeah, I was feeling he was so bad.
I wasn't a huge fan of what they got to replace it. I think the receivers will be about the same as last year, but I also think Dion Lewis will help as his main talent is catching it out of the backfield.
Yeah, that's your boy.
Bubble.
Yeah, I mean, this is nowhere near a top receiving corps, but it's definitely going to be a lot better than last year with Tajay Sharp and Corey Davis back. Tyrone Taylor also showed some promise, but I think whether this core can continue to get better depends on whether Corey Davis can emerge as a number 1 target. Obviously, he struggled last season with injury when he was on the field. He wasn't particularly great either.
Yeah, but I think the one thing, though, you look at this wide receiver group is, like, at least they're deep. Like, they got Corey Davis, Rashard Matthews, Tajay Sharp, and Taywan Taylor. All those guys can produce at enough of a level. Like, they're not the worst receiving core in the division or anything. So I definitely think they're going to be fine when it comes to Tennessee Titans. I think they're third or fourth probably third in their division. And so I think they're definitely going to be fine just because Mariota's a good enough quarterback to use what he's got.
All right, so I want to hear your guys' record prediction, division place, and whether the Titans can make the playoffs this season.
So I'll start. I have them 9-7. They have the second weakest strength of schedule, but I really don't think they do. I was looking at their schedule, and as optimistic as I am about this team, I don't see where they can get more than 9 wins. I do have them in the playoffs, and if they squeak in at that second wild card spot, but you just go to look through their schedule. I just don't see a way they can get to double-digit wins unless teams just surprise us with being worse than we thought they would be. I think they have a brutal schedule, even though statistically it's the second worst. They're at Jacksonville, obviously every year, but then they've got New England, they have Houston, they have Philadelphia, they got Baltimore, who has a good defense, they've got an up-and-coming Chargers team, they've got Dallas, they've got the Giants, who's going to be a good team this year. They just have a pretty brutal schedule, and so I just think 9 wins, even though I'm very optimistic. I think that I just can't put them above 9 or 10.
I have the Titans being 7-9, tied for third in the division with the Colts. Do not have them making the playoffs. I think they're going to take a little step back from last year. And just be below the fringe of the playoffs.
You think they get worse, though? I don't know. I feel like Malcolm Butler, Dion Lewis, and getting a guy like Mike Vrabel instead of the bum coach they had last year. I think they're going to definitely...
You mean you don't like...
I hated Mike Mularkey.
You don't
Their
like exotic
Their stupid offense was so stupid. Oh my God, I was so mad. But, he cost them so many games. But You give Marcus Mariota a guy like Matt LaFleur who can give them so many RPOs and just be so successful. Derrick Henry, I know, Dan, I think you said you liked a lot this year, and Derrick Henry. And I just think this defense...
I just like the backfield in general.
Yeah, their defense is going to have one heck of a season with Harold Landry. I'm really excited.
I mean...
He's
like a rookie, though. I mean,
I don't see how they regress. That's why I'm 9-7. 9-7, I think they're better 9-7.
But I feel like the AFC will be better this year. Like there'll be more like teams on.
Yeah, I mean they have the toughest division with them, the Jags, and the Texans. I think all three are going to be battling it out. It's going to be a good season.
I have them going 8-8, third in the division, and I do not have them making the playoffs. It's going to be a tough division this year, so it'll be very hard to compete for it. I think they are right in the playoff picture, but just miss out.
Yeah, I also have 9-7. I think they're the third best team in the AFC South. However, I mean, all of these teams, I think, will be up there and competing for a playoff spot. So I would say maybe I'm about 50-50 on the Titans making the playoffs.
You had to put your money on it. Are they making the playoffs? You can put your money on it.
I would probably say yes as of this moment, but I'm definitely not setting that. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like us three at least are pretty optimistic. Zach just has question marks before. So.
And, so that's going to do it for today's episode. Like Jason mentioned in the intro about a Scooch contest. So make sure, I'm going to tell you about that right now. You guys can enter into the contest for a Scooch Wingman case by either commenting on this video or subscribing to us.
Do both.
Yes, you can do both.
Remember, tell us if you're a big baller. Dan wants to know.
Yeah.
He'll be checking the comments hourly to see how many big ballers we have.
Yeah, and so also check out our code in the description for scoochcase.com. You can get 15% off your order. So thank you guys for listening. And if you want to check out more of our NFL team previews, go subscribe to our channel. We'll have many more coming very soon.